Hi everybody joining in. Welcome to Designworx. Designworx is a unique design platform engaging architects, designers and consultants from all across Asia. Introducing myself, I am architect Himani Ahuja. I am an architect by education, but a communication specialist and an architectural journalist by profession. I am also the founding partner of Designworxasia and One Digital. Insta40, what we are here for, is an Insta creative series by Designworx, which turns the tables to our storytellers to hear the beautiful story from them. Today we have a very special guest with us. Let's find out who. Let me introduce him first for you before I add him to our chat. Welcoming our guest, he's an architect, he's an author, an inspiration, motivational speaker. He has written 5 cult architectural books. He's a winner of 10 architectural awards and 2 literary awards. He's extremely dear to me and he is architect Sangeet Sharma. He'll be here with us shortly. He's just going to be here with us any moment. We are waiting for architect Sangeet Sharma, who's going to be here with us shortly. And like I told you about him, he is a multifaceted personality who's also an author, inspiration, motivational speaker, and yes, obviously an architect. We have with us architect Sangeet Sharma. Hi, sir. How are you?
Hi, Himani. Is it
How are
audible?
you?
I'm audible.
Yes,
Is it okay?
yes, yes. It's
Perfectly
perfect.
fine.
Yeah. I just introduced you to our audience, where
Yeah.
I introduce you as an author, an inspiration for all of us, a motivational speaker, not just an architect, and also a writer for 5 cult architectural books. So, you're a multifaceted personality. So let's start with knowing about you before we start on our topic. That, why don't you take us through your journey of architectural journalism? How did you start writing?
Hi, Himani. Thank you for a very wonderful introduction. I have to live up to that image when you speak so nice about me. That's the whole problem. And thank you for inviting me on this platform. I'm very obliged. I'm delighted to be here. Uh, you see, as an architect, I build. So to validate myself, whether I'm doing well or not, I write. So I write to validate my buildings, and I build to validate my writing. So they go hand in
Right.
hand. As an architect, as an architect, I'm simply trying to establish myself and convince myself whether I am also practicing what I preach, and not that I speak only theory. So
Right.
these both are they both go hand in glove.
Right. Great, great. That's a great way of putting it forward. But tell
Yeah.
me, how did it come to you that okay, today is the day that I need to start writing? So how did that start?
Uh, I think I was always writing, and even I published my first book of poems about 20 years ago. I think when I had something more interesting to write about, when I had something more concrete, like in building concrete, and that's when I said that this is the time I should establish myself as an author. Uh,
Right.
Before that, I was only understanding as to what is authorship, what to write, how to write. So I was building myself up.
Right, right. That's good. I mean, I feel those back in the times, not many people used to write, and starting it probably 20 years back, that was a different ball game altogether. So
Yeah.
we've understood how the transition really happened. It never was a transition, but it was a parallel stream that you picked up, and it went on with writing also and with the built environment. So
Yeah.
now let's also talk about music. So a lot of inclinations are happening, where you've been writing, you've been speaking as a speaker at various forums when it comes to communications, and you've also been into music. So how did that kind of inclination happen?
Um, I think I, I was born singing, and that's why the name is Sangeet. Well, just a
Right.
joke. And I used to ask my mother, was I singing? Was I laugh? Was I crying in swar? So she says, maybe yes. Uh, music happened to me when I was in seventh class, and it clicked to me. I was a good singer. I had a natural good voice, and my father gifted me with a guitar when I was in ninth class. So
Okay.
then I started learning guitar and playing. And I was in Bangalore at that time. So my schooling is
Okay.
from Bangalore. So born brought up in Chandigarh, but we went to Bangalore. My father was chief architect. So there the exposure is different. I think in South India there's more of music, more of a lot of people sing and do a lot of this culturally more potent South India. And it came on to me. Started singing English songs, and at the time we were into Simon Garfunkel and Neil Diamond and Bread and
Yeah.
Carpenters, all that you heard about, which are
Right.
still very famous. They're still very famous. So we used to sing, and we used to have a band, and then we used to sing in a hotel, in a restaurant, to earn some pocket money. So then, when I came back to Chandigarh, I realized that it was not the foundations were not very good. So I started learning Indian classical music from Atul Sharma, one of the famous musicians in Chandigarh and Punjab, and still learning. So, but the groundwork was done after about 20 years of frivolous exercise and egocentric things. So, still into music. I sing, I play, I enjoy.
Great, and we are lucky to hear you and read about your book every week. So that's interesting. Okay, so I want to know. Like, let's start with our topic, which is architectural journalism and communication. My first question to you would be: you've written probably 20 years back, and then you've also written Castles in the Air, which is now, right? So, any major changes that you went through in the process of writing both the books, in terms of your mindset, in terms of acceptance, and everything and anything?
Oh, Himani, tough questions. I'm going to be grilled today. I'm sure you are prepared. I'm not.
Yeah.
uh, you see, it's always an evolution. Our every artistic pursuit is an evolution, but writing is one hell of a it's a very difficult an evolution, because you evolve, and in writing you are never sure of what is going to be is the right, potential right words, sentences. You build an atmosphere, vocabulary. So many things take place for a writer. So the first book which was mine was after the poetry book was Architecture, Life and Me. That was purely semi-autobiographical, which was very much from the heart, very emotional, very sentimental, about my growth as an architect, about my growth as an under a big architect. So, you are making a name for yourself, you are establishing yourself, and then you're trying to relate, you're trying to understand the profession. So
Right.
you see, architecture or any other art is like understanding life. So you are understanding life, you're understanding profession, and then you're combining it. That was the
Right.
first book. Now, after 20 years, Castles in the Air, I was more aware, more confident. And what changes in an author is the courage. It's the courage. And you see
Right.
all those people who are writing, who are very famous, who have done something very great, have some element of courage. So that took me 20 years, Himani. And Castles in the Air is a simple pursuit of courage. Nobody else
Right.
could do it. A lot of people say, "Sir, ये तो हमारे दिल की बात आपने कह दी." And I feel very happy. Students say the same, teachers say the same. So,
Yeah.
so that I developed, besides the potential of other equipment, what's required as writing, it's the courage which I developed. So that is the one big difference between the first and the last.
Right, right. Interesting. Okay, so talking about communications through writing, communication plays a very important role, even with architecture and design firms, or even projecting your well-designed project on a global scale, right? So please share a little about how crucial and what is the idea of equitable architectural journalism.
Ivani, architecture journalism is still nascent, particularly in Asia. India is very nascent. I must explain one thing very clearly first.
Right.
Architecture journalism uh, is something which we feel like a normal journalism which we see in televisions and on other forums. It's not. Architecture journalism means that you're writing on a built form, and you are able to describe something of that. You are trying to explain a building, and if I'm publishing my project, I say, okay, this is my project, this is the plan, elevation section, etc., concept. Architectural journalism will only rise that day when a person will begin to critically examine the building. If you're
Right.
not going to critically examine the building, if you're only going to praise it, or if you're only going to talk matter of the fact, that's not journalism.
Right.
That's never journalism. And unless you become aware of your responsibility, maybe your responsibility. You are a very avid architecture journalist, known person. So you are responsible to evaluate critically, not
Right.
criticize. Criticism is not a critical identity. So a lot of
Right.
people think you want to criticize करना है, मतलब उसको उसके अंदर faults निकालनी है. Nothing like that.
Right.
No, it is simply a critical analysis. So unless you begin to do that, architectural journalism will never take birth. As far I'm concerned, it is yet closed in a box. It is not yet
Right.
opened up. You know,
Right.
there was one Ellsworth Toohey in Ayn Rand's Fountainhead, and after that, I haven't seen anybody else, and still
Right.
fiction level.
Right, right. I agree. In like now in the world's biggest democracy that we're living in, the role of journalism is actually to transfer as a responsible individual, not just document it in a certain style which probably is. So
Absolutely.
right,
And
right,
documentation will never make you an author. Authorship is, see, the when you define authorship, it means a work of your own creativity, your own work. That's authorship. Cataloging is not something which makes you an author. You are a cataloger.
right,
Fine, that's what.
right,
If I'm going to catalog buildings of say Shimla or Amsterdam or Germany, it doesn't make me an author.
right.
I'm doing the research. So the research part which is required is also essential. But to be an author, it has to be your own imagination, your own build-up.
Right, right, right. So, do you believe that architectural journalism really affects the way infrastructure of a society develops?
Surely, absolutely. I mean, if I'm going to, a lot of people wrote in history. You see Corbusier, or you see, all those Frank Lloyd Wright, Louis Kahn, all those people who built beautifully also wrote about the buildings, about the infrastructure, society per se. So I think there's an inherent ability to express yourself when you know how to build equally well.
Right.
I hope I'm not confusing the words.
No, no,
There
it's
is an
fine. Yes,
inherent
yes.
ability. I think, and that's why our colleges, tell the student, okay, stand in front of your drawings and explain. So they're building you up to explain. So that's what we do all our life. We're making a design. We want to sell it. We want to talk about it. So I think we make a difference in the society. We definitely do, if we know what right we have to speak about. So we have to be convinced. We have to be knowledgeable, and that knowledge, if it is imparted, only then we are effective, not otherwise.
Right, right. Very, very well said on that. So, if you talk about the social media presence right now, so owing to like a
Yeah.
growing social media presence and, ease of internet access that everybody has now, can an
Yeah.
architect, he has the built information of everything. He can add to serve as a vital influencer where he imparts certain facts and information.
I think that there's so much information available on internet, Himani.
Yeah.
What else can we impart, or what? Okay, let's say what we should impart. I mean, the question can be very simplified. What is
Right.
that I or you need to talk about?
Right.
We need to talk about the human values. We need to talk about the human comfort. You and I, and all those people on board who are listening to us, are responsible for human comfort, and that's
Right.
what our training. That's what our training is.
Right.
If I'm building a huge building which is LEED platinum rated, gold rated, etc., and no human being can live in it, it's a bloody waste of time. I
Yeah.
am not here to create sculptures. I'm not here to create poetry. I'm here to create sculptures which are living. So if I am deriving pleasure, I'm being responsibly creating spaces which are for human values, human comfort, for human evolution. then I have something to impart. If
True.
I'm going to write about my building, this is the plan and this is the elevation, and I use this, it doesn't bother anybody. A man on the street is not responsible or is not at all, you know, interested in what plan you made or what geometry
Right.
you used. A man on the
Right.
street is interested to see whether I am benefited or not. I mean that man. When the user says, Sangeet ji, maza aa gaya. This space which you build, it was enlightening, and that's the
Yeah.
real feast. That's when you
Right.
say, this is where I won. Otherwise, it's nothing. It's like a business. It doesn't happen.
Right. Right. True. So, since we are talking about going digital and we are talking about social media's presence, so what about losing the charm of books? You've written so many books. So, do you see that, design books have lost their charm and, people are really going online and referring to Pinterest ideas and everything to, really go further?
Himani, books will never go out of fashion. जितना भी digital हो जाए हम लोग, I mean, we need to hold that beautiful book in our hand.
Right.
This is a medium which will never vanish. So, talking about your particular answer, design books, we have everything on internet. But I still think that the back of the mind, if I see something on a printed matter,
Right.
I retain it better. I evaluate it better than on my small little screen, which I'm seeing you or my pad or something. That's
Right.
more. That's a transition. That's something which comes and goes away. It's a flyer. It's simply a flyer. But
Right.
trust me, when you see something on a print media, I still want to open a book if I want to be inspired and I want to see something about Tada Wando or Frank Lloyd Wright, and that image is there. It's something where it ingrains in my mind. So it's not something. So that design books are required, will be there. I myself am going to publish my books on my works.
Right.
And I'm sure people are going to see it. If it is worthy, people will see. If it is not, then it's just a waste of time.
Yeah. Yes, totally. And I believe, if you want to read a book, you need to experience it in your hand. You need to experience it. You need to feel it. You need to, probably even smell it. That smell of
Surely.
paper also changes everything. Okay.
Surely.
So, can you share certain tips with us, about how to write expressions, both literally and in prose?
My expressions particularly? What are you
Yes.
asking? Repeat, please.
Yes. So if you can share a few tips on how to write expressions, both in a literary format and in prose.
Let's see what is literature, Himani. Let's understand what is literature.
Right.
200 years ago, Shakespeare wrote his books. He wrote his plays. Since 200 years, we haven't had a man equal to Shakespeare. Kamal ki baat. I mean, we're still reading Shakespeare. He never got out of fashion because he talked about every aspect of human being, every emotion. Let's start. Anger, hatred, passion, love, murder, suspense, mystery, attachment, incest. Everything you can think about is Shakespeare.
Right.
That's what makes it literature. Now, a simple novel, maybe I write something, it doesn't become literature. Literature wahi hai, which talks about the human being's aspirations at every moment of time.
Right.
When you say timelessness in architecture, Taj Mahal is timeless because it talks about love. It talks about giving. It talks about something which was so inspiring. Similarly, literature is something which is always working for the good of the human being, and it is talking about all those emotions which we feel, we can connect itself.
Right.
So that's why it's literature. Now, prose prose, when we write, all of us, all our authors, I graduated to writing fiction because I realized that I was writing articles, Himani, and I wrote a beautiful book called Architalks. It was typical architectural language, architectural jargon, and those typical architectural words, because I was writing for a magazine. So I compiled those books, thanks to all those friends of mine and editors who helped me in this. It was Himani Ahuja from United Builder, and she said that, why don't you compile your books? I did it. So then that book became Architalks.
Right.
Now, that is literally talking about buildings, not critical evaluation. So I realized it's not something which can be categorized as architectural criticism or journalism per se. It is talking about architecture.
Right.
That makes it prose. Poetry is that which comes from the heart. Himani, I became a poet, I think, when I was in class 6th.
Wow.
And
okay.
you know how it struck me? I tell my students, I tell my friends, keep your eyes and ears open. Anything can strike a chord. So we were in a Hindi class, and my teacher said, we were in Bangalore, very poor Hindi. We studied Kakha Gain only in 6th and 7th.
Yeah.
And Kabir ke ek doha tha of 2 lines, and says the Rahim ka, sorry. And it is, there's a 2 lines pankti that Chalti chakki dekh ko diya kabira roye. Kabir Das. दो पाटन के बीच में साबित बचा ना कोई. And my teacher says, अरे वो चक्की होती है, उसके अंदर वो गेहूं डालती हैं, पिस जाता है.
Yeah.
I said, मैडम ऐसा नहीं है. वो जो 2 पाटन के बीच में है ना, it is earth and the sky. And what he means is that no human life will be stable. Everything will perish. 2 पाटन के बीच में साबित बचा ना कोई. And that evoked in me suddenly the potential of being a poet, and that became happen. And for the next few days I was flowing in poetry, flowing in tears, flowing in poetry, flowing in tears, because something has to awaken. इसलिए गुरु की जरूरत होती है. ये सब चीजें जो है, पेंटिंग, पोएट्री, फाइन आर्ट्स, इंक्लूडिंग आर्किटेक्चर, हिमानी, ये गुरु शिष्य परंपरा है. Nothing less than that. You don't learn these things on your own. You learn it, but you reach a certain level. But if you want to be beyond that level, you want to be something really great in terms of greatness, फिर गुरु की आवश्यकता पड़ती है. And probably Kabir Das was my guru in absentia, who awakened me in poetry. So that's what the difference between prose and poetry.
Right. Very, very well explained with so many examples, and I think everybody will be very clear on how these two differ and how they merge together. Right?
Thank you.
Okay. So if you can also share your experience of attending a literary festival, because I've heard that you were the only invited professional architect there. So
Yeah, Himani. There was the literary festival in Doon, Dehradun, and I was invited there. And I was I think I'm the only architect, at least I know of. I mean, I don't know, there may be somebody. Yeah. So to be among us, those established authors, so I felt a little weird. I felt small, and I felt little, you have this butterflies in your stomach, yaar. Yeah. You don't belong there. I mean, you're not there. But because of your background as a professional, you've written something, so you're there. So it's a mixed feeling. You feel very, very nice. You feel absolutely invigorated, charged, motivated. But there's a lurking fear that we need to rise. I mean, if I'm here today, it made me realize that I have yet so far to go. I mean, I'm here by fluke. I mean, I realized that I was here by fluke, Sangeet Sharma. You don't belong there. So let's work harder, that somebody can say, oh, you as an author, you are invited. So I don't want to go to literary festivals again as a fluke or by chance. I really want to be good enough to be invited, Himani.
Right.
But it was
And
grand experience.
we don't need to praise you enough. And I am 100% sure that there was something in you that really belonged there and deserved
Thank,
it well, right? We have
thank you so much.
architect Vivek Gupta here. We have architect Sabina saying hi to you. Hi, both of you.
Hi, my friends. How are you, Vivek? Bless you all. Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so talking about education system in India, since we are talking about architecture, communication, and journalism, which is not too much prevalent when it comes to the education level, right?
Yeah.
So especially in architectural colleges. So what reforms will you suggest, to alleviate this overall development of a potential architect? I mean, I'm sure we do a lot of things at the concept level in the first year of college, but I'm sure that writing will also aid to it. So according to you, what more reforms can be done?
In terms of elevating architecture journalism, Himani,
Yes, sir.
I think number one, this should be a subject right from first year to the last year. It's like evolution in design. When we join first year, we are understanding design. And journalism must also be evaluated in the same platform. So you are improving. So as I improve in design, I improve in communication. So till fifth year, till thesis, when I'm able to design something better, I must also be able to express it better. So hota kya hai ki we are not taught how to express, but they
Right.
want us to stand in front of those fantastic, noble, great people and speak. How the hell can we do it? We are
Yeah.
so nervous. We are so nervous. Our language is poor. Most of us belong to families where we don't speak this kind of language. So we are building us up. So I think journalism, first of all, we don't need to instill that fear in students कि यार ये journalism है. वो सोचता रहेगा पता नहीं साला क्या है. So it's simple methodology of writing. Tell them it is simply to understand writing. Don't scare him with words.
Right.
Then you say elements of writing. The moment you say आज grammar की class है, कोई नहीं आएगा. Nobody will come. You say let's understand the language and let's understand the potential of the language. So you have to slowly. So this is the art of teaching. Teachers have to be very, very developed. Why is that architectural teachers in the world connect so beautifully and they have more respect than India? I mean, I'm talking about myself also. I'm a visiting teacher. People don't connect to you so easily because you must know how to do it.
Right.
First of all, we should be educated ourselves. We should know what to convey and how to convey. Most of us are doing our duty. We just go there, speak for 45 minutes, mark the attendance and come back. How will a student connect to you? So and particularly in a language, you really have to have the art of conveying and adopting those people. So I think journalism, A, must be there in all the years. B, we must expose them to various authors like we expose them to various architects. If we have visiting faculty, let's have visiting faculty. Call Chetan Bhagat. He will come.
Yeah.
Call Mr. Gautam Bhatia. He's such a great Indian writer. He's my guru. He's one of the finest authors we have had. I think he's the man who started the trend of architectural writing.
Right.
Magnificent man we have amongst us. How many of us have we invited him, called him, honored him, recognized him? Okay, he's a well-known person, but still I think we could do more. So let us expose the students to the potential of writing. Third and the last, the need of it. The moment you say it is important for you in your career, they will come running. The moment you say, "Arey yaar, ye pass karna hai, this is part of the semester," they will not come.
Yeah.
So I think there is an inherent, difficulty in us, in me, and as a teacher, I need to convey better. And until that is done, journalism will never develop.
Right. And I would like to add on to this that it is not just really about content writing or journalism that you really need to be, a pro in. I think even if you understand the basics of it being a designer,
Yeah,
I do not even think that everybody would want to pursue architecture, journalism, or communication.
perfect.
But as a designer, it's very important. Even if you go, to your UP in college, you should be able to communicate your design. You should be able to document your design well,
Yeah,
and you have to convey and talk to them better in a clearer format, right? So it's basically an organic exchange of ideas that you're doing should be well put forward.
absolutely, absolutely. I just said you tell them that it's requirement, it's your requirement, and they will do it. Yeah.
Right, right. I agree. Okay, so we've spoken about educational institutes. We need to come to architectural firms. A lot of architectural firms also face problems in documenting their projects and even writing about their projects, or even for that matter, presentations that they do for their prospective clientele, right? So, because that was not implemented at the grassroots level. So, how important is it according to you, for these architectural and design firms to invest into communications and PR? If you can suggest certain ways how to document projects which are important for each one of us.
I think Himani, it's a very important thing today. I mean, we all are building. I just said that you write, to understand what you build. So you are trying to, correlate both. A lot of firms in abroad are hiring people to do this. So there are experts. See, at the end of the day, all of us, me, you, and people like us, have something in our mind. We are storytellers, but we are
Right.
not qualified to as a writer. We are not done our lifelong research in language. We're not linguistics. So we have a lot of editors who edit our work. So architects are required to convey their expression, but to broadly write that more and more, they are hiring people. But I think if an architect can do it himself,
Right.
nothing like it. I mean, I started, my dad told me that you must try to photograph your own building. I said,
Right.
maybe we have a lot of photographers. He said, no, you do it. And he was a good photographer. And
Yeah.
I started doing photography myself of my building because that's my creation.
True.
I know the angles and I did it so well. And now my son is doing it. I mean, architectural photography is so good because of my own building, I could do myself. It's like reading my own book. I know where that good paragraph is. So architects are, I think if they should be capable to express their designs. There is no way out. You can hire people, you can hire editors, you can hire professionals to do your work. But if you tell them, yeah, this is my building, that's my concept, please help me to convey it, then that is not the way to do. Then there is a lack of it. A lot of good, I think good architects all across the globe, when they speak, my goodness, it's such a thrilling experience to hear them.
Right, right. I agree, and it's thrilling to listen to you as well. So
Thank you, Himani. I'm
yeah,
trying.
and you've been acknowledging a lot of people who have taken a step to innovate, create, and taken a step to acknowledge them, whether it be writers, whether it be people in journalism, whether it
Yeah.
be photography, music, everything. So I would like to know from you, and I would say you've acknowledged me also in the same stream. So I would like to know, and I would like to tell the audience about this, which is A3 Foundation. So what are the benchmarks of it? How is it formed? And how can somebody apply for it and win it?
Thank you, Himani. This foundation started 15 years ago. When you are missing something in your, say, when you were studying in your education, then you're missing something when you are striving, struggling. So that's where you want to give back to the society. So after a decade of working, I said, we must have a foundation, because I missed at the time when I was a student that somebody should acknowledge if I'm doing something nice. See, my teacher says, well done Sangeet, अच्छा काम किया तुमने, good design. Your
Yeah.
parents say अच्छा काम किया, they will always say, so it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
there has to be an established body, an established organization, which so we build A3 Foundation. A3 is art, architecture, aesthetics. So we want to culminate everything, and we started trying to bring in sustainability into our designs. So we started with the forums. We started inviting people to talk to students. So we had a lot of established architects coming in, and almost all the architects, whether it was Mr. Doshi and Father and other people from Delhi, and so all those people came and said, what Spic Mecca is to music, A3 Foundation is to architecture, and nobody
Right.
charged us a single penny because we were doing it for the students. There's
Okay.
no organization, at least in India, which really commends the work of students. We grew. I realized, look at the teachers who give their life in teaching architecture. Nobody bothers about them. We started awards for them. People who write about architecture, least considered, we brought them to the fore. So architecture journalism, we really thrived into it. We started inviting people to send their articles, their books. So we actually, today Apurva Bose is a known name, and she is an A3 awardee. Himani is an A3 awardee. And,
Right.
and many so far. So we discovered in them, and we take a lot of pride. We take a lot of pride. I mean, there is no, how can I grow? How can I grow alone? There is no solitary gain in life. I am happy because you are happy. I am evolved because you are evolved. The whole society is evolved. Architecture is all about lifting each other up. It's all
Right.
about human values. It's nothing to be selfish about. I mean, we architects become suddenly so selfish. कि
Yeah.
ये मेरा काम है, ये इसका है. Plagiarism, you cheat on things, you copy. Not necessary at all. I mean, look at those people who, our masters, they don't bother about these small things. They only bothered about giving back to the human being, the human values, the human comfort, and that's it. So the foundation began on this note, and today we have, the benchmark is very high. We have almost about 300, 400 entries, Himani, and
Yeah.
it's very difficult to assess, but we love the way people approach us. There is no groupism. There is no governing bodies. There is no chairmans. There is nothing like that. No politics. We invite principal of one college to give award to the student of other college. Then there may be politics in between them, but when they come under the roof of A3 Foundation, everybody is at par, and they love to be at par, because that's the kind of forum we have built, such a respectability we have built, that we are there. And I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of the whole world, and thanks to the whole society who has supported me.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for acknowledging talent and putting everybody in a good place through A3
Thank you.
Foundation. Okay, so we've spoken about you being such a multi-talented individual. Let's also know from you that do you have anything that you still feel that you haven't achieved professionally and you want to do?
Today, Himani, I'm going to be sliced. You are very well prepared. What I haven't achieved so far, I think there's a long way to go, Himani. I started late in career because first 5-6 years I was only trying to imbibe. I came back and worked with my father, so he was a legendary figure. So you are trying to understand, and I think what I need to grow is because there's so many things, so many crevices of minds in my mind. And I think if somebody was to dissect my mind, and schizophrenia is only a very small word, there would be multi schizophrenias. So there
Right.
are, there's a set of so many minds. But I feel I need to grow as a person, as a human being, because the more I develop, the more my faculties develop. The
Right.
more I evolve myself, the more my faculties evolve.
Right.
And I just pray to the Lord that I don't make me selfish, don't make me confined in something which is only for me. It should be radical. It should be for the movement. It should be for the society. And I want to become a better human being, which I think I am not.
Okay. I do not agree with you on that. I think you're a great
No,
and
actually,
very
Himani.
warm person to anybody and everybody who approaches you, and you are a delight to speak to. Okay,
Thank you.
so I would like to ask you one quick question, and then we go on to our quick rapid fire, which is
Okay, you have that
fire.
also. Oh my
Yes,
God.
yes, I have an
Ask,
interesting rapid fire,
ask them again.
which we will know from you, and any advice that you would like to give people starting on in architectural communications or architectural journalism.
Yes, all those my friends on board. Uh, uh, I'm not very experienced or old in that way to give you advice, but I must tell you 5 things which you should be understanding. I think every person has a story in his mind. We all have enough experience. We want to tell stories. You see, I graduated to fiction writing with castles in the air because I realized that I need to have, I want to tell a story. How it is done is a craft of writing. So we need to be, if we have, it's like a design in my mind, which I can't bring it down with a pencil on paper, I'm a failure. Similarly, I'm a storyteller. I need to bring it on the paper. So for that, all that equipment I need, all those infrastructure I need, I mean, I need words, I need vocabulary, I need to read and write. So if I want to write 1 page, I want to read 5 pages. So I want to advise my friends on board and students that please read. People read, they just pass through pages. It doesn't happen. Just read 2 pages a day and you'll be able to write 5 sentences. 5 sentences. So reading and writing go in hand. Secondly, evolve yourself. Identify the authors which you like. It's like identify the architects which you like. Follow them, read them. Identify the authors which you like. Identify the things which you like to tell and talk about. Know it, firmly know it, and pursue that. Most of us, we want to do this and this and this. Aisa nahi hota. You
Yeah.
can never excel in everything. You have to understand your potential. Once you grasp that, attack that, and you'll be a winner.
True. Thank you for telling us this, and I think the audience is well informed of how to proceed in architectural communications. A quick
Thank
hi to everybody who's joined us this evening and saying hi to Sir and me. And this is a topic which is close to our heart. That's the reason we are exceeding our time limit, and I think we are okay with that.
Oh my
And
God, let's make it
Sir,
quick.
would you
Okay,
mind? Yeah, let's
let's make it
quickly do
quick.
it.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with our rapid fire. You need to answer quickly in a line or in a
Okay.
word, whatever feels comfortable to you. Right?
Oh my
So
God. Okay.
start with question 1. Which are the 3 things that you cannot live without?
Mardia, Himani. Uh, Music, exercise, and prayer.
Great. Okay, since you are
Music,
in music, yes,
yeah.
since you're in music, next question is what's on your playlist right now? What are you listening to?
Neil Diamond in the morning,
Okay.
in the evenings, Mozart and Pandit Jasraj. So I'm listening to Pandit Jasraj, classical music. I love the Indian classical music, and that's it.
Okay, great. Okay, pick one. Hard copy of a book, or do you want a Kindle edition of the book?
Hard copy, hard copy, hard copy. Hard copy, hard copy, hard copy.
Great. Okay. So pick your favorite book out of the 5 books written by you. You need to pick one for us.
Yeah, that's very difficult. 5 fingers of one hand are equally important.
No, you can't. You can't put this away. You have to tell me one.
I think, Himani, Architecture, Life and Me.
Okay. All
This
right.
book is very close to me, is close to my heart, and came straight from emotional level, without any makeup. So, Architecture, Life and Me.
Okay, great. Okay. Pick your favorite thing about Chandigarh.
Uh, the open greenery, the verdant green is so beautiful, where you can breathe in the green.
Okay. Proudest thing about your writing career, till far that we've reached.
Proudest thing in the career. Uh, I'm just trying to be, I'm just trying to enjoy that feeling, I'm expressing with you, when I was at the airport and go to a bookstore, some people recognize you. So they
Yeah.
say, okay, sir, Jara, we want your autograph. And so you feel nice,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you feel nice. So you're recognized as an author. Being recognized is, I find, very difficult. I mean, you have to be really good. So this happened on 3, 4, 5 occasions in Delhi and Bombay. So I felt nice. So
Great.
that's I think the proud moment.
Right. Okay. So, do you have any weird hidden talents that we don't know about? We already know about writing and music. Is there anything weird that we don't know?
uh, uh, I'm a great mimic, and I have a great comic timing. And
Okay.
if I want anything else, I would be a damn good actor, yeah. साला वो हुआ नहीं. So I have a good comic timing, and that's why I think my Castles in the Air was very popular, because that has a good comic timing. So I bought that out on my writing. Acting
Right.
तो मिली नहीं कहीं. So इसी में कर दिया.
Okay. Great. All right. So, if you had the opportunity to work with anybody from any period of time across the industry, who would it be and why?
Any industry,
Any
any.
industry, any period of time, who would it be and why?
Wow, what questions, Himani? कहाँ से ढूंढ के ले गए यार, मजा आ गया. Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay.
Leonardo da Vinci, because I feel he was a genius, and his multifarious personalities brought in so many, things for the society. He was an architect. He was a great dramatist. He was a painter, poet, sculptor, everything. So I think I would have loved working with him, and he would teach me so much. And
Right.
he's one man I really admire, and I really want to work with him. आपको उसका
Right.
ड्रेस पता होगा ना, तो मुझे बता देना, मैं जाऊंगा उसमें.
Sure, sir. Okay. So, which architect influences your work and your work habits?
I think Le Corbusier. There is
Okay.
so much we have read about him, heard about him, lived with, it's in my blood. So his style of working, we have so much of adopted and read. I think subconsciously I work like that. I mean, architecture comes in the last. First is the painting, poetry, writing, sculpting, talking, and I think that all combines makes my architecture, because
Okay.
architecture is the mother of all arts, which I learned
Yeah.
from Le Corbusier, and I think I emulate him at the back of my mind.
Right. Okay. So, one last question, which is your favorite part of the job that you are in and your least favorite part?
Oh, Marvadia. I think the favorite part of my job is form development. Essentially, I think I'm a sculptor, and so sculpture में जान डाल देना, उसको lively करना. So I'm a form developer, which I really love. The worst, I think, is the whole damn practice of architecture is worst. That's why I wrote Castles in the Air. But I think the nitty gritty of it, the marketing of it, the business of architecture is something which I don't like.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, sir, for spending so much time with us and taking time on a Saturday. It was great having you on our Insta Creative series, and I wish that you are aiding to this creative industry always.
Thank you so much, Himani. Thank you, Designworks. Thank you, all my friends who are on board. And I'm blessed to be on this platform. And thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you, everybody. Rise, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye,
Thank
sir.
you. Bye. Thank you, Himani.